What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Verse Crypto channel, the most savage and degenerate crypto channel out there. My name's Khaos Kris, and I'll be your host today. Before we hop this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys up to date with the latest, greatest news and information within this space. With that being said, let's hop right in this video. As always, I have another awesome live stream for all you degenerates today. Today, I'm going to be riding solo. If you guys have been following my YouTube channel the past couple weeks, we've had guests on the channel. We talked about really cool projects from bridging. We were also getting other people's perspective on what's going on with pDAI and Atropa. Now, I have a lot to talk about today. As most of you guys know, pDAI, Tropa, haven't been doing so well. Is this the end for it? Is it over? Is that the game? Or is something big coming right around the corner? That's the big question, and hopefully we can answer that question today here on the live stream. So while we wait for more and more people to come in and get set up, let me come over here to TradingView, and let's just take a look at where we're sitting at with Bitcoin. Hold on, let's get this sucker pulled up. Bitcoin. Sorry, I don't have it pulled up right now. All right. And screen shares. Whoa, wrong screen share. Hold on 1 second. I believe this one. I'm trying to remember where this is on the wrong screen share. Why is this not working right now? 1 second. Huh. I don't know why my screen share is reversed. So, all right, let's just do it this way. Sorry, guys. Let me go back to screen share. Okay, cool. So, basically, looking at Bitcoin right now, we had a little bit of a run-up. And basically, since that run-up, where were we sitting at? So we basically went up a little bit and we had a little bit of a drop from that top. So about a 4% drop, and we're basically trading down. And so essentially, basically, we've gotten through the bottom. Most people thought we are going to have like a massive false flag event right in this area, but it turns out that it actually rebounded and things are actually looking pretty cherry right now. So overall, coming into October, from what people are telling me, Bitcoin is going to be mostly bullish, and then some people are speculating that there could be something to bring Bitcoin to the downside towards the end of October. Whether or not I think that's going to come to reality, I'm not sure, but the events that you want to be looking at are going to be anything that has to do with the Federal Reserve. Are they going to start printing money? Are they going to continue to remove money from circulation by increasing interest rates? So overall, seeing Bitcoin at about 27,000 and then it almost got up to about 28,000 is pretty crazy. So really, really great indicators. Now let's come over here to cryptobubbles.net. Now, taking a look at cryptobubbles.net, most of the altcoins are in the red, but I know the past few days we saw a lot of these bubbles mostly in the green. And so now coming across the top 100, I don't even know what this is. Bitcoin SL, never heard of it. We have Hex sitting at negative 5.3%, and then we're also looking at Aptos at negative 5%. Now, checking out the top 200, seeing if there's any big movers. So Pulse actually had a little bit of a run up, and then today it had a little bit of a drop down. But right now, it seems like Pulse is actually starting to bottom out. Since the SEC lawsuit, it dropped 70%. There is actually max FUD and max pain across the entire market. And now that we're starting to see Pulsechain and PulseX start to rebound, it's definitely really bullish times going on into the future. So definitely really great stuff. One more thing. Look at one thing. Make sure. Oh. Let me look at one more thing. Okay, there you go. All right, so now we're back. Sorry, guys. I had it on the wrong screen this whole time. So cool. All right, awesome. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. Sorry, my OBS is all messed up. So let's start off with any questions and see what's going on with you guys right now. So we got 19 people watching. All right, shout out to Ultra Hyper Mega Sup. What's the 414? So the 414 wallet is basically the wallet that created Tropa and all these other altcoins. Monut Gang, shout out to that. Ultra. So Ren, buy all the dips. Explain what 41 is, please. Chexy Chase, what about Teddy though? And then Vibra, news isn't affecting the price. ETH, ETF good to go. Price does nothing. Okay, so I do agree with that to a certain degree, but also keep in mind, you do need to follow the Bitcoin price because that's going to be the main indicator for most people whether or not we're entering into the bull market. But I do believe that the ETFs will pave way to a massive price appreciation going into next bull market. Now, let's talk about all the stuff that's going on within, the 414 and the Tropa ecosystem, because there's a lot of interest going on right now. Now, pDAI hit a massive dip. Everyone's going crazy. I was just checking my x.com Twitter, and I spent this past weekend doing research trying to figure out what's going on, get an idea of this entire ecosystem, and everyone's like, it's doom and gloom. It's the end of the world, yada, yada, yada. Now, Ian put out this really cool post that I definitely agree with. So I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. But basically, at the first drop, we had an 85% dip. Then we go back to another all-time high, and then we had another drop, which was another 85% dip. And then from this all-time high, at the time of this recording, we had a 70% dip, and now we're getting down to that 85% drop zone. So to first talk about what's going on with pDAI, these drops have happened before. Just like other projects like Hex. Hex is actually at a negative 99% right now in price. Do I think Hex is going to do well in the next bull market? Absolutely. But with pDAI, it's not going to go up forever. There's not a single coin that was able to go up forever. Right now, we're starting to see, Elephant Money, which is another coin that's going up and to the right. That coin had some problems, and it's actually been going up forever, but there's a good chance that something might impact that price. So the main point I'm trying to get across is the biggest downside to the world's best performing asset is the massive dips and the volatility. That was a quote that Richard Hart used, and, I'm paraphrasing, but you guys get the point. Now, let's just come over here to pDAI and just look at some price measures and metrics right now. So since that dip, what I did was I measured out 85%, and then I've been tracing some trend lines from the top. I had this first trend line coming down here to kind of map out where we're going to possibly hit the bottom if we were to repeat history with these past cycles where we had this initial cycle dip, this initial cycle, and then dip. And so right now we had a little bit of dip. We broke off trend, started trading sideways, and now we're having a little bit of a price rise in the pDAI price, which is absolutely awesome. So what I'm thinking is if we were to hit this 85% historical dip, I would probably be expecting it to be right around October 6th to maybe October 10th is the range I'm thinking. Keep in mind, I'm not a TA guy. This is me just taking a look at some numbers on the board and trying to figure out what's going on with the entire space. So overall, as for pDAI, we still have a little bit more to the story, which is what I'm going to get into more on to this video. But this dip has happened almost 4 times, and believe it or not, it had a similar run up and then a similar dip before this. So this is the 4th time this happened, and for some reason, after every single dip, there's different excuse. After the last dip, people are saying the contract wasn't renounced. The Atropa token can be minted out on Infinity. The contract gets renounced. Now this cycle, they're saying that there's some unknown dev coming in, scamming people, and they're basically staging one of the world's massive rug pull. I would say, going to the extreme end and coming to these assumptions right off the bat would not be a great approach, especially for something like this. Also, we just had an 85% dip, so it's really not that it's not a huge deal, but I think the point I'm trying to get across is this was expected, and I guarantee going on to the future, there's probably going to be another dip as well. Now, moving over to Atropa and seeing what's going on with Atropa. So Atropa has a very similar price correlation to pDAI is what I'm noticing. And essentially, you kind of see the same chart mechanics if you overtop pDAI. It goes up, and then now it's coming down, now it's coming down. And then right before this live stream, I was actually looking at this. We're getting some pretty nice price action on Atropa. Whether or not this is going to hold up into the future, I'm not really sure. But from what we see in the past, we usually see it trade sideways, maybe trade a little bit down, and then it goes and starts to hit its next leg up before it retests its all-time high. So overall, I'm still bullish on Tropa. I'm still bullish on pDAI. The dips are just in the game. Now, one other thing I noticed that's very, very interesting, and it's this meme coin that everybody loves. Everybody loves meme coins. It develops community. There's hype. And what's great about meme coins is they absolutely rip. Since I was on this live stream, I had this idea about, talking about teddy bear, which most of you guys know. And I was like, okay, what's going on with teddy bear? What are the outcomes? Yada, yada, yada. Now, I want to show you guys the price right now because this absolutely left me a little bit speechless. If we come over here, this morning, it was basically trading down and sideways. And I know B-Roots and Ian did a massive live stream. And now we had this massive breakout coming across. And I didn't draw a trend line for this, so I'm going to try to just eyeball something in. Keep in mind, this is just me eyeballing the tops. So basically, now we got the teddy bear token absolutely ripping above this trend line. I'm not really sure if it's going to go for a run to keep an eye on. I'm not a TA guy, but there's a lot of hype and a lot of people are keeping their eye on the teddy bear token. In my opinion, this could possibly have a Shiba Inu run. There's a community behind it. Every time I go on Twitter, I see so many memes behind the teddy bear token. As to whether or not it's going to be successful in the bear market, in the bull market, that's something we have to see. But in all honesty, the teddy bear token has brought so many eyes to the Pulsechain ecosystem. I've had so many people that aren't Pulsechain guys in the XRP community, Cardano, whatever blockchain, hit me up and say, Kris, what is going on with this teddy bear coin? And then they also ask about Atropa and stuff. I see this thing everywhere. Tell me about it. And in my opinion, I think teddy bear is probably a phenomenal marketing tool that can be used to onboard so many people in this ecosystem. So how I think it's going to perform, I think teddy bear is going to be correlated with Atropa and pDAI. And I honestly think that, when pDAI and Atropa start ripping, we're going to see teddy bear start ripping as well. And keep in mind, this is a token owned by the notorious 414 wallet address, and it was also created by them. And we'll get into the origins of this name just in a minute. So really good stuff, guys. Now, let me do a quick check on any questions and see what's popping up. Holy cow, we got a lot of questions. All right. So, PulseX has been looking good the past few days. Awesome. So Rene, okay, let's see. Anything ultra, hyper, mega, teddy bear spike, he, absolutely. And then, okay, so no big questions. All right. So let's talk about what's going on with, news about new tokens being launched. So Zach and the research team came out and said, hey, there are new tokens being launched by the 414 wallet address. We're going in, we're investigating, we're going to go and check it out. And I was sitting here and I was just like, to be honest with you, I love playing around with all these tokens, but I also get really tired trying to dive into every single one and try to figure out what's the utility, what's the purpose and whatnot, because we're getting to a point where there's probably well over, I want to say about 60 tokens created by the 414 wallet address. And so I sat here and I said, okay, so we have all these tokens being created. We're not really sure what they do. Some tokens can be minted, and then there's others that have been renounced that can't be minted. So why is the wallet address doing this? Why is the 414 wallet address doing this? Why is the developer who is essentially trying to bring pDAI to peg trying to do it with all these tokens? And so I'm going to get to that in a second, but I want to show you guys something really interesting that popped up when we were looking at the new tokens that launch. So to start off, the first token is YT, which is the name is right here, YouTube. The 414 wallet address launched this token called YouTube. You can come over here to the block explorer. Let's see if it pops up. It has the same token format as the other tokens, 11111111 across the board. And a large portion of these tokens are actually owned by the 414 wallet address. So we had that token launch YouTube. And so now everyone's sitting here saying, okay, why do we have a token named YouTube launch? Now, if you go and you climb through, and then here's also the YouTube supply, and then Zach, the homie Zach, you guys should go follow him on Twitter. Really great dude. He also posted that it's owned by, 99% of the supply is owned by the 414 wallet address right here, just so you guys have verification. Now, we also looked at some other tokens that was also launched by the 414 wallet address. And we get this other token called timestamp 1750. So we got one token that says YouTube and the other token that says timestamp 1750. So you might be asking yourself right now, okay, what does this mean? What is going on? Why is the 414 wallet address talking about this? So Zach held a space. They went in, did some research, and got some answers to these questions. So if you guys go into YouTube and you research, some of the tokens that the 414 wallet address actually launched, you'll actually come across this Korean pop band. It's called K-pop. It's called Triple S. And so what essentially Triple S is it's the first decentralized K-pop band that is essentially launching, I believe, their music on the blockchain, if I got that correctly. But the key takeaway is a lot of these tokens that are being launched by the 414 address, they're actually names of the songs that were created by this K-pop band. And so if I come over here to the next YouTube channel, like for example, Poppy, I guarantee all of you guys have seen the name Poppy. And so if I come over here to Poppy and type it into, Deck Screener, you can see that there's the name Poppy right here. So one of the names is Poppy, and then the next one is Teddy Bear right here. Teddy Bear right there. And so I know all you guys know Teddy Bear. So what's turning out to come to fruition is the 414 wallet address was actually launching names of these tokens based on the songs of a K-pop band in Korea. And what's the really interesting part about this K-pop band is apparently there's going to be some sort of grand reveal that was done for this entire musician group. And some people are speculating this could be the case for the Tropa dev. I don't really think that's going to be the case. I think it makes more sense for the Tropa dev to remain anonymous. But the connections between YouTube, the timestamp, and the songs of these tokens, it's pretty concrete, dry, and clear. And if you go over to that 1750 timestamp, I believe it was I think it was in the Poppy video. It'll pull up, do you love me? Do you believe me? And then a bunch of other lyrics. And that's what that token is referencing when it says timestamp 1750 right here. So right now you're probably scratching your heads just like I was, and you're asking yourself, okay, so why is the 414 wallet address launching YouTube timestamps in the names of these really popular K-pop songs? Well, there could be, two explanations for it. Number one, he's just trolling, or number two, the tokens had a utility to the ecosystem. The name doesn't matter. It just matters of how the tokens are being used to build out the entire ecosystem. Because believe it or not, when I started looking into Atropa, I started looking at the stuff that Sonny was talking about, and we're going to talk about Sonny in a minute. And Sonny had a really great point about how this Atropa ecosystem works. And in my opinion, I don't think many people really truly understand what Atropa is mainly used for, because its use case goes way past Atropa. Way past bringing pDAI to peg. The Atropa token's main goal is to actually bring all the PRC20 tokens to parity. Now, I'm going to just draw a little diagram, and we'll just talk about what's the main point of all these weird tokens being launched. And hopefully at the end of this, you guys have a better understanding and of what's actually going on. So let me pull up a white screen, and I'm just going to draw this out, and just so you guys can conceptualize. So let me do a little white screen right here, and then we do a screen share. So to start off, What Atropa mainly comes down to is liquidity pools. And part of the reason why the pDAI price has done so well is because this 414 wallet address keeps launching liquidity pools and pairing up with other tokens. And using these liquidity pools, it's actually creating this, I guess the best way to say, it basically stores liquidity in these token pairs and makes it so that it incentivizes arbitrage bots to come in and trade against the pairs. Now, that was a huge word salad, and I think it's better if I just draw a diagram because I know you guys really enjoy diagrams. So to start off, we have one token, and so we'll just say this is the PLS, and then this is our connection, and then this is going to be, we'll say this is the DAI token. So right here, we have our PLS to DAI token, and then over here we have our DAI to Atropa. And then we'll just do one more level where we have Atropa to, and then this one's going to be to our down token. I'll just put this right here. So using this diagram, I'm going to explain how the Atropa technology essentially works. So on this diagram, we have the PLS to DAI, DAI to Atropa, Atropa to down. Now, last time I checked, the PLS to DAI, I think it was like right around like 300K in that liquidity pool. Someone fact checked me, but it's right around there. And then I think at the height of it, the DAI and Atropa pool was right around, I think it was 2.5 million. And then I remember the Tropa down pool is about 1.5 million. And so in this blue text are essentially the numbers that are going to be like the value of the liquidity pools. And so when I say liquidity, the best way to think of liquidity for each of these pairings, it's basically how much these tokens are worth altogether. And when you go in, you basically use this as a medium exchange from one token to the other. Now, when you're going across and you're trying to get into the down token, you could technically go from pulse to down, but the issue is you're going to get eaten up with slippage because the PLS to down pairing is probably right between 1,000 to 2,000. So if you're doing a large amount, you're going to pay a massive slippage fee because the price of the token is going to change in that pool. So essentially, in order for you to go from pulse down to purchase the down token, you first have to go in, buy the DAI token, and then from the DAI token, you buy the Atropa token, and then from the Atropa token, you come down here and buy the down token. So in order to transfer your money from this pool to this pool, you essentially have to go through the DAI and the Atropa pool as like a medium of exchange. And so what the Atropa developer is doing is he's setting up these massive liquidity pools between these altcoins and not setting them up between Rat Pulse, because when you have an Atropa liquidity pool right here, and you also have like an Atropa down liquidity pool here, when you have the price of these tokens go up and down, what arbitrage bots are going to do is they're going to come in and say, let's say the price of Atropa in this pool was, we'll say it's like 5 cents, right? And then let's say it's 4 cents in here. That arbitrage bot is going to come in here and essentially buy the token for 5 cents here and then sell it for the token for 4 cents. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me go backwards. So essentially what the arbitrage bot is going to do is it's going to buy the 4 cent token here and then come in here and sell it for 5 cents in the Atropa and down liquidity pool. So what does that do? Essentially what it does is it takes value from the DAI Atropa liquidity pool, transfers it into the Atropa down token. And so the point I'm trying to get across is the reason why these liquidity pools are so powerful is it's absorbing a lot of this value and a lot of this money from the ecosystem. And because all these liquidity pools lead back to the Atropa and DAI token, it actually helps alleviate the sell pressure of the DAI token, allowing it to maintain peg. Now I'm going to take this a step further because, believe it or not, a lot of these tokens have pairings between your favorite PRC20 tokens like Pepe, Rat Bitcoin, BTT, Uniswap, any ERC20 token you can think about. And so through these arbitrage opportunities, you have these bots set up that are trying to make money, but they're also auto balancing these pools and essentially absorbing as much liquidity from these trades so that it actually stabilizes the price of pDAI and the PRC20 tokens. So when we get into, why all these tokens are launching, it's basically taking this systematic theme and implementing it for all PRC20s. The idea behind these tokens isn't necessarily to, create scams or to have you guys confused or whatnot. The idea is the Atropa ecosystem is an extremely complex ecosystem using liquidity pools to balance out the price of DAI token, balance out the Atropa token, and also add values to PRC20s. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the most advanced and also brilliant things I've ever seen in cryptocurrency history. This is actually probably one of the most brilliant things I've seen in my entire life. You had a developer come in and use these tokens to add value to tokens that were airdropped to everybody and that were essentially free. The Tropa ecosystem is building the foundation for PRC20 parity. And this is something Sonny talked about before he dipped out. We'll get into what he's doing right now. So when you look at all these YouTube coins like Poppy and hold on, let me go back here. So when you look at all these coins, like you have YouTube, you have Poppy, you have Timestamp, you have all of them. I understand that you might be sitting here and you're thinking like, okay, what is going on? But in reality, if I come over here and we look at here, let's see if like something with YouTube pops up on the wrap poll side. Yeah, so in reality, when you come and you look at this, you look at YouTube, there's a massive liquidity pairing between Teddy Bear. There's also a pairing between A1A. There's a pairing also between Atropa. And so what this liquidity pool is doing is it's actually creating another place where arbitrage bots can trade and buy and sell the token and also auto balance out the pools, which would in turn increase the value of all the liquidity pools, which would also bring the PRC20s to parity. And that's the ultimate end game. Now, it may sound really, really confusing, so I'll even break it down a little bit more. Essentially, these tokens are serving the place as like these sponges that are absorbing money from ecosystem trades, arbitrage bots. And as it absorbs money, it's much more difficult to bring this money out of those token pairs because you basically would be clicking all day. And so by making it much more difficult, you're still going to maintain some sort of value behind these PRC20 tokens, and also it's going to set up so that these PRC20 tokens can appreciate in the next bull run. So yeah, and so as for all these new tokens, the 414 wallet address, they're going to continue to launch tokens going on to the future. This is always going to be a reoccurring thing, and we're going to see new tokens no matter what anyone says. And in my opinion, the best tokens to be in, this is not financial advice, are always going to be pDAI and Atropa and maybe Teddy Bear if you want to get into the meme coin stuff. But ultimately, all roads lead back to Atropa, which in turn lead back to pDAI. And also, it might not be a bad idea to look at some of your favorite PRC20s like Wrap Bitcoin or Pepe or Uniswap or whichever ones you like, because there's a good chance that these tokens could have a little bit of a run go into the bull market after seeing what the Atropa token is doing. And I'm also about to cover the A1A token a little bit and talk a little bit about what Sonny was talking about before he decided to dip out. So it's a very fascinating concept. I'm going to come over to questions because I'm sure I got some questions about what's going on. So Rene, that K-pop sounds good. Ultra nice. I didn't know that. Rene, that's some deep news. I would never know. Thanks. Ultra Hyper, another weird 414 token. Nice guy. Nice work. Thanks. Vibra, that K-pop music is hilarious. What's your favorite song, Kris? Shout out to Vibra Finance. I love you, Adam. He's a good dude. You know what? I think my favorite K-pop song is Teddy Bear. And the one thing I really want to get across is I think that the name of the tokens don't really matter. It's more so on the ecosystem. I think the names are just arbitrary names of the token. I think the developer just has an obsession with K-pop. And I think he did the YouTube and the timestamp and all that stuff just to play jokes or whatever, or just to mess with you guys. But don't worry about the name, and also please don't worry about buying every single token, because like I said, all roads lead back to Tropa, which in turn lead back to pDAI. If you get into these other coins, you know, that's your own risk. I'm not advising anybody, but please tread carefully. And, you know, on this channel, I cover a few of them, but I'm not going to go into every single one that 414 wallet address launches, because I'll probably go crazy at that point. So, cool. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about A1A. I put a tweet out about A1A, and I put out my opinion. It absolutely went viral. And then I also had a few people say, you don't know what you're talking about, A1A this, A1A that. And then Sonny responded and gave some clarity or whatnot. But ultimately, I want to talk a little bit about a developer named Sonny the Detective. And so I'll show you guys his profile right here. So Sonny the Detective, he was a new face to the Pulsechain ecosystem. He came in right when we started to see the Atropa ecosystem build out, and he actually did a really great job of wrapping his head around liquidity pools and also what the Atropa developer was doing. And so he started a Telegram group just talking about these coins, researching them, and he's the one who really got into, you know, the value of these liquidity pools and how the Tropa ecosystem is being set up to bring PRC20 tokens to parity. And then also he got into a little bit about this other token called A1A, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So if I come over here to one of his tweets, he had this really, really long tweet talking about, you know, Pulsechain, Atropa, richardheart, and whatnot. And to be honest with you, a tweet like this, it's basically a send-off and basically saying, peace out, guys, I'll see you later. And this might be the last time we hear from Sonny, which is not a big deal. But, well, actually, no, he's a good dude. I love learning from him, but, I mean, essentially, that's what I'm thinking. So, I want to go through this tweet. I want to pick out the main parts, and I'm specifically looking for the A1A token. So, so kind of to start off with what some of the stuff this tweet was saying. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. All right, it's not letting me zoom in. Okay, this is just getting worse. Let's just go, like, right there. So coming down here to his tweet, he goes in and says that richardheart's really great, yada, yada, yada. And then, he goes in and he says, the third token is A1A. In case you're missing the point of Atropa, which is to be the power bank of the free copy PRC20s, then pay attention, because A1A is Atropa with a 1% reflections tax. Both are like power generators, except Atropa is 52 kilowatts on a pull behind trailer, and A1A is a Honda 5K. Atropa dev is a math genius. A1A dev didn't pass algebra, but we both created the same thing, a small mint on a block on a Pulsechain, the start of a mathematical equation that can never be solved. Both devs selectively choose PRC20 copies that people would come and interact with. We gave them life and volume, and very often burn our own liquidity to do so. Token A1A currently has around 40,000 real-world pulse burned forever and growing daily. This will never stop. When you buy, you add liquidity. When you sell, you add to liquidity. The trick is no one ever has to trade it. It will arbitrage itself. So the point that Sonny was getting across, and it gets back into what I'm talking about with what we see with all these tokens that 414 wallet addresses messing with. Basically, they're taking pDAI, pairing up with the Tropa, and then also burning it into a liquidity pool. And so when you have pDAI being traded for a Tropa, that means more pDAI is going to that liquidity pool, and then less Tropa is being removed. And it's the same concept with a lot of these PRC20 tokens, because what happened with A1A is it's very similar to what you see with the Tropa, except you have A1A. Actually, you know what? I think it might be better if I just draw this out. So, actually, no. Let's move over before I get into the main explanation. So here's another explanation of what A1A is. So token A1A is designed to incentivize arbitrage bots to constantly level out the price across all the LP pools, thus rewarding holders with a 1% of the total volume. As the price of the tokens that A1A is paired up with move up and down, it will force buys and sells on the chart. While you can use this for a quick flip, it ultimately is forever hold that has a true ability to be worth more as its liquidity bonded pairs rise over time with Pulsechain growth. Token B2P is paired slowly with token A1A. It has a 2% reflection tax and is meant to be a form of long-term storage for A1A. So And let's see. Yeah, so we got that. And then, so token A1A has been paired up with 3 different liquidity pools. I actually believe now it's actually 150, but this was when it first came out on both version V1 and V2. 20 of these pools were paired with 0.5% of the supply and 100K pulse worth of token it is paired with. So that's kind of like a great explanation. So let me break down what Sunny and this account is trying to say what A1A is, and you guys let me know your thoughts once I give you guys my explanation. So basically, what we have here, if I come over here to the black pin, so we have the A1A LP pool, and then we also have the B2B. So when these circles are symbolized by the tokens. So you see these little circles right here. These are the tokens, and then this line is going to be the liquidity pool. And I believe the liquidity pool here was, I think it was right around 5 million. Well, we'll do that in a second. Now, on the flip side, A1A also has a pairing with Pepe or pPepe. Here, I'll put pPepe because I know somebody's going to freak out. So we'll say pPepe. Also, A1A has a pairing with, I believe, SHIB was one of the other ones. Well, there's 150 of them, so it's probably like there's probably like a bunch of these. So there's SHIB. There's a pairing between that one, and then we'll do one last one. It also has a pairing between Atropa and then A1A. That's also another big one. So we have Atropa, and then this is paired up with A1A. Gosh, guys, my handwriting is terrible. Okay, cool. So basically, out of this diagram, I believe there's like, last time I checked, there's right around like 5 million in LP here. And then these other ones, I'm not really sure. But this is basically, right here is the main pair. And so what Sunny was saying is, so for example, let's say the price of A1A in this pool was sitting at about, we'll say 3 cents right here, right? So the price of this token of A1A, let's say it's sitting at about 3 cents. And then we come over here to, let's say the P-SHIB and the A1A pool right here. So let's say the price of this token of A1A is sitting at about 4 cents, right? So what an arbitrage bot would do is it would basically come in here, buy this token, and then come over here and then sell it into this pool, right? So essentially what this does is it removes A1A from this pool, adds value to this A1A pool over here. In exchange, you're going to get the A1A tokens. So basically you're exchanging value from these two liquidity pools. In that process, it's going to auto balance out the pool, and you're just going to add more liquidity between the P-SHIB and the A1A token, and also it's going to add more value between the A1A and the B2B token. And the key to understanding this is the B2B token has a very strong liquidity pool between A1A. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to absorb a lot of that money from these arbitrage opportunities between all the pairings. And keep in mind, there's no bot doing this. All it is these arbitrage bots that people set up looking for, you know, a quick flip in their money. And essentially using this process that Atropa created and A1A is essentially, you know, building off of, it's absorbing all this value and then also adding value to each of these PRC20 tokens. And so basically in Sunny's description, he was saying that the A1A token is kind of like, you know, like that mini car compared to a generator. So it adds a little more power to the PRC20 parity thesis that we're starting to see right before our very eyes. Now, if I come over here to the A1A token, you can see that we have a liquidity pool between wrap pools sitting at about 28K. And you know, for the most part, this token has done extremely well. I mean, look at this price action, because this is a very fascinating concept. And I'll probably say like right here, since its top, it's done, I believe that was like a 228x, and now it's sitting at a 110x. And so in my opinion, I think A1A is going to be an absolute sleeper in the next market. I think not many people really understand it. And I think by the time people start to understand it, we're going to see a wave of people come in. Now, the other token is B2B, and B2B is the one that has that massive liquidity pool, right? So 3.6 million. So I was off by 1.4 million. But regardless, this has that massive liquidity pool between A1A that I was showing you here in this diagram. And so this is basically being used as a place of storage of that liquidity so that we don't see a massive price depreciation of A1A. And also it continues to give arbitrage opportunities to all the other PRC20 pools so that the PRC20 tokens can appreciate in value. So overall, in my opinion, I think A1A and B2B are going to be sleepers. Number one, they have a really cool concept that no one's ever used before. It's very similar to Atropa. Number two, anonymous dev. Number three, the dev disappeared, kind of like Satoshi Nakamoto. So that kind of gives you an indicator that this thing might be the real deal. And number four, it's a massive experiment. Can these tokens bring PRC20s to parity? Because the one thing I want to get across is, you know, hate him or love him, Richard Heart has created something truly special in this ecosystem. The Pulsechain is a very unique layer 1 blockchain. He copied the Ethereum block. He basically forked Ethereum. He forked Uniswap. He created a massive community, and now he's fighting up the SEC. And on top of that, with this massive experiment that we're starting to see right before our eyes with A1A, Atropa, B2B, and pDAI, if they're successful in bringing mass price appreciation to pDAI and all these PRC20 tokens, Richard Heart will go down as one of the greatest people in cryptocurrency history because no one else has ever done something like this before. And having a community that's so committed to understanding this stuff, researching it, and also dabbling around just adds, support to this claim. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's truly fascinating. And, you know, I want to show you guys, you know, the results of, you know, the A1A and the Atropa token. So I'm going to show you some PRC20 tokens that have actually been doing extremely well. So one token that came to my mind, this is BTT token. So BTT was paired up with Atropa. Actually, let me show you the main like liquidity pool before I show you. I don't want to show you this one. So BTT token, right? We had a little bit of a sell-off, then a drop, and then we started to see this weird price action in the price. Part of the reason why this was happening is because there's a pairing between BTT and Atropa. There's also a pairing between BTT and I believe A1A as well. And so this is bringing arbitrage opportunities where, you know, you can trade between the pools while also adding value to the pools that have less money. And this alternatively brings the price of BTT up. On top of that, another token that's also been doing extremely well, Wrap BTC. Wrap BTC was at the center right next to pDAI. We saw this token do absolutely well. We've seen it been hyped up in the farms before. Wrap BTC has a large amount of liquidity pools trading against each other. Atropa has taken interest in Wrap BTC. We also have a pairing between A1A. Right before your eyes, a lot of these PRC20 tokens are slowly accumulating value, which is amazing. And the next one, all right, and this will be the last one. I think I made my point here. DEX Tools. DEX Tools was probably one of the few tokens where if you got into it and went to parity, it would have the highest appreciation. Well, one of the highest appreciations among all PRC20s. Since we started to see these pairings come up, we saw a little bit of a run up in DEX Tools, and then we had a little bit of a sell off. So DEX Tools is also another one that's reaping the benefits of this PRC20 parity thesis. And so the point I'm trying to get across is, even if you don't believe all the stuff I told you, just look at the product. Look at these PRC20 tokens. Look at how they're performing. Some of them are slowly going up in price. And I get it. Some of these pools are very, very small in dollar amounts. But the main thing behind A1A and Atropa is they're trying to bring PRC20 tokens to parity. This is a new technology. This is an extremely advanced technology. This isn't someone going around trying to take coins and rug pull or whatnot. There's a lot behind this ecosystem. I spent thousands of hours researching this, and we are about to be, and what we're being set up for is probably one of the greatest things in cryptocurrency history, and I'm just excited to be here to witness it. And so the main point I'm trying to get across is, I know I talked about a little bit about A1A and B2B, but Atropa and pDAI is the way. And also, there's nothing wrong with taking $100, splitting it across 5 PRC20 tokens, and maybe buying like $20 of each, and say, all right, I'm gonna get $20 of this, $20 of that, $20 of that, and just seeing what happens. And if you guys want to get a little bit more riskier, you can get into A1A and B2B. And so, one thing I also want to say is, I want to bring back Sonny's post real quick. So, I know I talked about, Atropa and A1A, but at the end of this post, he said, let me see. Oh, this is actually better. So at the end of the post, he says, so cheers to these 3 Debs, selfless sacrificing for the good mankind, edged on blockchain for your freedom, for your movement. That's just thanks to Richard Heart. He's giving us he's giving up a lot of his freedom for us right now. Trust no one, including me. Do the math yourself. Remember one thing from me if you will be about our space. Remember one thing from me if you will about our space. There's no end, just your entry. One love, Sonny. So in my opinion, I think what Sonny's saying here right now is this is kind of like his send-off. He got into Atropa, he got into A1A, he got into a lot of these tokens. He started talking about them. And since then, the A1A token took off, and I think he decided to remove himself and kind of fade away from the community and decide to go do his own thing. Or maybe he just created a new account and he's just viewing crypto from a different lens. But regardless, Sonny had some really great points. He talked about A1A all the time. He talked about B2B. And depending on how A1A and B2B do in the next market, I think I'm going to continue to cover this token because I'm really fascinated behind the mechanics and the utility behind it. I dabble a little bit on Twitter, and and people send me some really great information. Some people had a panic attack, and I mean, to be honest, if you're having a panic attack over cryptocurrency, you should probably be doing something else. I'm just saying. But regardless, there's something special here with the A1A and the B2B token, and we're going to really see it in this next bull market, and we're going to see really how it starts to apply and how it gets played out. And I'm really excited to cover it going on to the future. And also shout out to Sonny, really great dude. He added a lot of value to space. Some people didn't like him. Some others worshipped him. In my opinion, I think he was a really great dude to learn some information. So Sonny, if you're watching this video right now, man, shout out to you. Thank you for all the stuff you do, and I really hope we can see you in the next bull market. So one way, whether it's on this account or on a different account. So definitely really do appreciate it, man. So all right, cool. So let's get into some questions. All right. Okay, so Rin, funny. Stacy Tabor song reminds me of cyberpunk K-pop US cracks girl band. Rina, okay. Gosh, C3C token, K4K token next. Stay away. Passport for Dex tool. This was a little sell off. Laugh out loud. Yeah. So okay. So the point I was trying to get across with the Dex tools, Passport Pal. The point that I was trying to get across with that is I was trying to show you that the price of the token was going up as a result of these arbitrage opportunities in the liquidity pools. I understand that. Look, I'll go back. We'll take a look at it. So I understand someone sold off and took profit, but the point I was trying to get across is we're starting to see appreciation amongst these tokens, and right now we're starting to see a level. Actually, how much of a sell off is that? I'm just really curious now. Now you got me curious. Oh, geez. All right. Never mind. It was a little soft. He was right. All right. It was 63%. All right. Whatever. But regardless, the point I was trying to get across with these PRC20 tokens, I was basically trying to say that there's going to be added value behind them. And I brought up Dex tools because, this was a token that was trading sideways for a while and then went up, and then someone took a massive profit and went down. The point is, I wasn't trying to say get into Dex tools. I was saying that this is the result of the product. So, but yeah, you definitely got a good point there, Passport Pal. I'll give you that. So, yeah. So, yeah, I know. I was teasing. It's all good. 63% is nothing. Oh, man. Oh, man, dude, I love you, dude. You're always on every live stream, dude. Shout out to Passport Pal, man. He's a really good dude, so awesome. All right, Cool. Yeah. So now moving on, we have about 10 more minutes left. All right, cool. So let's take a look at some other stuff going on in the ecosystem. Now, one thing I want to bring up, guys. So we just covered Tropa, we just covered A1A, and then we just covered B2B. Now, a really cool dApp is actually going to be popping up very soon. And the name of this dApp is going to be PulseSwap. And the reason why I really want to put this out here is because there's going to come a time where this dApp is going to launch. You can come over here to pulseswap.io, and using this dApp, you can essentially trade from Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, and 9 other blockchains into the Pulsechain. So this actually adds cross-chain interoperability to the entire Pulsechain ecosystem. And let's see if it'll pull up. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it will. So yeah, here we go. So I'm just gonna connect my wallet and just show you guys how it's gonna work. So I think like a couple days ago, the developer was having an RPC issue, and so since then, they're actually coming in and they're going to be updating this this to add Pulsechain. But if you guys ever want to come in from, you know, Binance, Polygon, Harmony, I'm pretty sure Harmony is like a dead blockchain, or Metis, then you can actually use this dApp and then go into Pulsechain and then swap for tokens. As most of you guys know, I'm on Binance a lot, so I actually have a lot of money, and I'm waiting for this to open up so I can swap from Binance to Pulsechain. So PulseSwap is actually right around the corner, and once we start to see the build out of PulseSwap, one of my biggest predictions that we'll probably see is that the paper token is probably going to increase in value. Right now it's at about, what's that, 11% dip, 22% dip. What dip is that right now? All right, so 14% dip. So what I think is going to happen is a lot of people are going to start coming into you know, the Pulsechain ecosystem, and they're going to start using this paper token more. In my opinion, I definitely can see the paper token increasing in value, especially when you see something like Teddy Bear go to the moon, or pDAI, or another token. When there's a higher buy pressure behind this paper token, this is going to be a really great place to park your assets, not financial advice. So that's also another big one that I've been looking at and I've been planning on getting into in the future. On top of that, SparkSwap. So if you guys don't know, SparkSwap is another, I believe it's another exchange. Yes. So it's another exchange. I covered this a little bit on CoachX's live stream, but one thing that I'm really eyeing on SparkSwap is the yield farms. Now, right now the yield farms, oh, come on, man. Sorry, my wallet's just being freaky right now. So one thing that I absolutely love about the yield farms and SparkSwap is you have an insane amount of high APR. If you don't get into the Spark token, you can take a look at the PulseX and Pulse token. You can also look at the Ethereum DAI token and Pulse, and then you can also look at, you know, the Hex and the Pulse token. So I'm actually a huge fan of, you know, SparkSwap, and it's a really great place for yield farming if you want to get into yield farming and whatnot. And the pools are also really cool too, because you can utilize this to earn Spark tokens with your Wrapped Pulse DAI and Wrapped ETH. And the best part about it is, you know, if you come over here and take a look at the Spark token price, it's going at a little bit of a dip right now. Well, actually, well, it dipped down, but overall the price of this token has been holding extremely steady. So in my opinion, I think the Spark token could possibly be a play going on into the next bull market. So definitely something you guys want to keep your eyes on. So really, really good stuff. Now let's see if we got any more questions or anything else they want to say. Passport. Do you know anything about some of the researchers finding out who the Atropa dev is and they message them waiting on reply? Dang. So here's the thing. I don't know too much about, you know, the developer and the researchers trying to reach out to the Atropa developer. But the one thing I will tell you guys about this is, this story behind pDAI and Atropa, don't listen to any of the maxis. They've been wrong every step of the way. There's a lot of stuff to uncover, and there's a lot of things that we're finding out every single day. I can't necessarily comment on that right now, but the one thing I will say is, you know, keep an open mind going on to the future and understand that the one thing that you can get from this live stream that I talked about, and also understand that the Tropa ecosystem is extremely advanced and it's made by someone extremely intelligent. So the one thing I want to give you a key takeaway is that more of this story is starting to be unraveled and uncovered. Will we find out the true identity of the Tropa developer? I'm not really sure. Some people think that they found him. Some people say he's going to remain anonymous. I'm not really sure. I've heard multiple things, and it's not enough for me to come on live stream and talk about. Or you can't comment because you're aware of something you can't tell us, or because you don't know anything. So basically, I don't really know anything in a way. Yeah. So the reason why I can't comment is I'm not one of the higher level guys where I don't know enough to make a comment about it. So that's the main point. But the one thing I want to say is you do not want to fade this ecosystem, because there's so much FUD going behind pDAI and Atropa right now, and there's so much people attacking each other. And usually when people are FUDding this much, this is when I start to get in. But overall, the one thing I will say is this story is not over yet. And this story is going to continue into the next bull market. And there's going to be things that will come out that will absolutely blow your mind. So, yeah, I got you. You don't want yeah, I got you. Yeah. So ultimately, like I said, guys, the mystery continues. If there's any more information behind pDAI and Atropa, I'll bring it here on live stream. And also, I got a really great announcement. We will be creating possibly a video series on the pDAI pegging theory. So definitely stay tuned on our YouTube channel, because we're going to start rolling something out really, really cool. And I'm really excited to show you guys, because I think it could be something really cool that the community would enjoy. So like I said, guys, that's it for the live stream. If you've got any more comments, questions, or anything, put them down in the chat below. And before I wrap this video up, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys up to date with the latest, greatest news and information in this space. My name's Khaos Kris. I love every single one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.